Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It is good to be home. It is good to be home. And I want to thank the leadership here of this JCC. There's an ideal in Judaism that says that Abraham kept his tent open on all four sides, that so whoever was approaching would feel welcome there. It is a great ideal of Judaism, and it is wonderful to be welcomed here with open arms, welcomed here with love to bring together this community. I feel a little insecure that this was positioned so that I could look out and see the people working their cardio here. I don't know if that was a subtle point to make, that so much love in this room, that folks want me to lose weight and stay in shape. I appreciate that. I say it's good to be home because my very origins in this community came about as a response to hatred. I am here today because New Jerseyans, black and white, Christian and Jewish, joined together when my family was denied housing in this community. When they would show up to buy a house and they would be told that the house was sold, they would be steered away. It was real estate steering. And it was a small organization made up of a diverse group of New Jerseyans here in this community who came together and said, no, we will not tolerate bigotry or bias or hatred in our community. Two lawyers, Arthur Lessman and Marty Friedman, came together, a Christian and a Jew, and represented my family in trying to buy a home here in Bergen County. And I'll tell you this, literally, on the day of the closing, after a white couple posed as my parents in order to get the house and bid on the house, and on the day of the closing, instead of the white couple showing up, my father did, and Marty Friedman, Jewish lawyer, walked in to confront the real estate agent, and amazingly, the real estate agent stands up and punches Marty Friedman in the face and sigs a dog on my dad. Now, I say this all the time, that every time my dad would tell the story, the dog would get bigger. But I am a physical manifestation of the love and decency and goodness of my fellow Americans and of Jewish Americans who understood the truth that before you speak to me about your religion, show it to me in how you treat other people. Before you tell me about your passion for your faith, show it to me in your compassion for others. This is the truth of Judaism. And this is why I'm so profoundly overjoyed to be here now, because my parents taught me as a boy growing up in Harrington Park. Never forget, they wanted me to know, that when people marched and sat in, got on buses knowing that they would be bombed and burned, they wanted me to know that the people that did that were not just black folks. There were gay folks that were there fighting for your freedom. There were Muslim folks there fighting for your freedom. There were Jewish folks who shed blood, Goodman, Cheney, Schwerner, together with African Americans, not because they were fighting for black rights, but they were fighting for that call that is rife throughout the Quran, that is rife throughout the Torah, that is rife throughout the Christian Bible, fighting for that high ideal of justice. Jewish Americans who celebrate during the holidays that song sung with the words, Ki beiti beit tefillah l'chol cho'amim, may my house be a house of prayer for many nations, that the ideal for a great society is all people coming together around one table. It's the ideal of America, e pluribus unum. And so we are here today. We are here today, yes, as a response to hate, but please, let me tell you, that's not the fullness of the reason why we are here. We are here because of an affirmation of love. Because that is the truth that we exalt. That is the strength that we show. We know what King said so eloquently, that what we will have to repent for, he said, calling to the consciousness of righteous people. He said what we will have to repent for in our day and age is not the vitriolic words and violent actions of the bad people. It's the appalling silence and inaction of the good people. And so, this is the power that we have now. In times that test the strength of our souls, we must respond. In the cover of night, individuals want to spray paint hatred. We must cast that away with the strength of our light and our brilliance. Some coward in the darkness on a telephone who wants to launch threats to us, we must show our united courage that we will match those jangling, discordant tones with our chorus of conviction and love. We now are at a point where they want to come after us and try to desecrate sacred soil. We must show that you can come after our cemeteries, and we will rebuild, but more than that, we must remind them that there is nothing they can do to undermine the story, the testimony, the greatness, the grandeur of what our ancestors did when they lived here on this earth. We are a people that are continuing a tradition. And now is a point in American history where I don't despair. I will not give in to despair. Hope is something that doesn't exist in an abstract. Hope is a choice. It is saying that despair, that hatred, that violence, that will never have the last word. Hope is understanding that we have to be agents of hope. It is a conviction. It is a determination. And right now, we must be people of hope. Because there are people that are fearful right now because of their country of origin, because of how they pray. There are people that are fearful right now. And so we must be agents of hope. And that means two things. One, I'm proud that my senior senator, Bob Menendez, my governor, Chris Christie, that these two men in their official capacity are taking concrete actions to be people of hope. I'm proud to have joined with Senator Menendez, not just in asking for more money for nonprofits like this JCC, that's so important, but the way in which Senator Menendez and I went about it. We reached across the aisle and asked our Republican colleagues, join with us on letters asking for more funds to our nonprofits. Join with us for more UASI, Homeland Security dollars. Let's do this in a bipartisan way because we are all Americans. Nothing should divide us when it comes to protecting and standing up for fellow Americans, especially in times of hate. This is not a partisan issue. I want to thank Governor Christie because Senator Menendez and I fight to bring home those UASI dollars, fight to get more of those UASI dollars, but it's Governor Christie as our chief executive in this state that must stand up and make sure that those dollars are being used every single day, from law enforcement to working with nonprofits, to shut down threats to our community, and I'm grateful for his leadership, especially today. But I would be remiss, though, if letting you know that that is not all that we are obliged to do. That this can't stop with what our professional roles and responsibilities are. In the civil rights movement, there is this great song sung by one of my favorite groups, Sweet Honey in the Rock. And the song is called Ella's Song. And there's a refrain in that song that says, "We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it's won." You see, we have inherited in this nation the legacy of the struggles of those who came before us, overcoming sexism and bigotry and hatred and homophobia, overcoming anti-Semitism. We are here today, as I said, we are physical manifestations of this consistent commitment to freedom, to hope, and to love. We are here because people understood that their obligations of citizenship go beyond just voting, go beyond just taking care of your families and yourselves. It's this understanding that we have an unusual connection to each other because this nation was not founded on those usual connections. We're not a country that was founded as a theocracy where we all pray alike and have that as our connection. We're not a nation that was founded because we all share the same race and same ancestral DNA. We're not founded on some divine right of kings and queens that guides us together. No, we are founded as a nation because we are a nation of principles and ideals. In fact, we're the first nation to put it into a constitution that we are a country that respects freedom of religion. We're the country that recognizes we're all created equal. We're the oldest constitutional democracy. We put forth on this earth these celebrated and vaunted ideals, and people fought for them. They struggled for them. They died on foreign soil for these ideals, and they died here in America, standing up against hatred and bigotry. And now it falls onto our generation not to be reactivists when people threaten or hate bills up, but to be activists, proactively every single day, fighting and pushing to evidence our values and our ideals. That's what this time calls for, and every time. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm so proud that we're gathered here today. It is so important, this moment, but the moment and the challenges in our country as we see hate and actions of hate crimes rise up, it demands for us in this generation the same kind of commitment and sacrifice that our ancestors made. And so I call on all of us now that we will never ever let a hateful word be the last word, that we will respond with love. I call on everybody, if someone wants to try to instill fear, that we are people that stand up and inspire courage. I call on everybody that we understand this obligation written into the Declaration of Independence, this ideal that we must mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Let this be an ignition point today. Let us be agents of that sacred honor. Let us go out from here, not just to condemn hatred, not just to stand up against those who seek to intimidate and fear, but let us go out from this place and let us tell our truth, not just as Jews.
We will make America great again.